no matter how much I think I'm doing, I feel like I'm not doing enough. And then I realized that it's true, I'm actually not doing enough. Is how this person felt in a relationship with you is what it feels like to me. Good day, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Milk Honey Rose. I am Mystic Alchemy. Thank you for being here. So this feels like an ex, right? And this is going to be one of those situations where you kept busy. I feel like you were just very busy. You were very focused on whatever it was that you were doing, but this person didn't have that same drive as you. They didn't have that same focus. They were distracted. Everything was all over the place and in disarray when it came to them. And, it feels like you was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, family members were probably like, what are you doing with this person? They don't even match you. What is that? Like, what is that? Is that a person? Or is it just like a lazy lump? What is it? You have family members trying to figure out why. Were you with that type of person? And then I feel like you stuck up for them. You're like, no, they're looking for a job. They're wanting to go to school for this, that, and the third. And then a family member or a friend will be like, oh, so did they find a job yet? And you're like, no, not yet. They're still looking. And then some people have that energy like, I told you so, right? And it used to frustrate you because you love this person so much, you believed in them. But they just weren't getting it right. They couldn't get it. They couldn't catch it. They couldn't catch the thing that they needed to catch in order to get it right. So you started to get frustrated because you started to feel like, is it possible that my friends and family are telling me something that I need to hear and I don't want to hear it? Is this the case? You started to be real with yourself and really ask yourself, is this me making excuses for someone that I've fallen in love with? Or is this person genuinely trying? So you began to pay a little more attention than you were paying before because you may have just taken their word for it. Like, you know what? They said that they're doing it. They showed me a few jobs that they applied for, a few things that they're focusing on getting into. And you notice that this was going on for months. And you're like, still nothing? To go as hard as you say you go, you were surprised that it was nothing, right? You're like, you've been telling me a lot of things and nothing has happened. Not one interview, nothing's happening. And I feel like this happened a while ago. For some of you, it could have been recent. But for most of you, I feel like this was a while ago. This is an ex that was just lazy. It feels like a lazy ex, someone that just wasn't doing enough for themselves. So it was like you started to look at it like, if you can't even do for you, how could you do for us and our family if we decide to have one? Or if you had one, if you ended up having a family with them already. Maybe you had a child or two by them and they just weren't doing enough. So you finally got tired and you decided to break it off, even though it was hard because love was still there for the person. But it's just that your drive was you were more engaged, I feel, into your goals and your plans than they were. And it just felt like they weren't doing enough. That's what I'm feeling here. Someone could have also dealt with the person of your past not wanting you to elevate, like didn't want you to go to school if you were going to school, or not wanting you to elevate yourself at all because it would make them feel a sense of insignificance because they would begin to compare themselves to you. And I just feel like there's a lot wrong with that because that just shows that that person is feeling like they're lacking. And anytime someone feels like they're lacking, it can come out in various ways in a relationship, and they can begin to project that energy onto you as if you're doing something wrong when you're actually working on elevating yourself. So it's very unhealthy. You've learned that it's unhealthy to be with someone that doesn't want you to elevate, because it shows that they have some insecurities regarding possibly their perception of how intelligent they are, or like, and it doesn't even have to be a situation where you were calling them stupid or, out of their name. You didn't even get like that. It doesn't feel like you did. It wasn't because you didn't feel like that. It feels like you encouraged this person. You were kind to them. You showed them that you support them in what they're doing, because clearly you waited and you were being patient with their endeavors to improve themselves, but nothing was happening, and it began to seem, or you began to see, that it was more talk than action. And you got tired, because if you're going to get it and the person that you with is not going to get it, then where you really going? You can't really get to a place with a person like that. They just become dead weight for you. So you moved on, you grew from this, and you learned from it. Not everybody is a good person for you. Not everybody that you meet and that you end up connecting with will work out in the long run, even if this is someone that you had a child by. Some people are just not good people to have a child with, but it's even more challenging when you have a child in your younger years, for those who've had children like in their 20s. When two people are young and they get together, there's a point in time where you could think, oh, we're going to get married, and you talk about it together and you think it's going to work, and one person is elevating and the other person is stuck and they're not moving, then how could the one that's elevating want to actually, what is the likelihood that the one that's elevating and improving themselves, what is the likelihood of them staying with someone who doesn't want to improve themselves? That's when somebody grows out of a relationship, and that happens all the time. Okay? So, and that's okay. It's okay to have that experience. You don't want to beat yourself up about it, just because that's life. Especially if you had intentions on marrying the person and they had intentions on marrying you. It's just that you grew apart, and that's one of those things that could happen. It's just life. And you making sure that you moved according to how you truly felt inside when it comes to recognizing that they're not doing enough when it comes to improving themselves, and you realize they're more of a burden than someone that you can deem as someone you could depend on, trust, appreciate. It's kind of like, you realize if they cannot live up to what your expectations are in a person, then you can't be with them. And it's not even like shady. It's not even trying to put the person down. It's one of those things where it is what it is. You see what they're choosing in their life, and if it doesn't align with you, then the relationship is over. And at least the romantic aspect of it, sometimes you could still co-parent with the person and deal with them on that note. But other than that, it can't be anymore, because it just doesn't work for you. Okay? So this is one of those situations where you grew out of the situation, and this person may have tried to make you feel bad for their shortfalls, but you stopped even allowing that to bother you, because you already knew what it was. Over time, you learned that this person just didn't have the same drive as you. So you moved on, and you feel so much better now that you're not with that person, because they were weighing you down and holding you up from actually making space for someone who is meant for you, the one that is a part of your divine destiny and is divinely aligned with you. Okay? So if this is resonant to you, and this is a situation that you can appreciate for what it was, even though it didn't turn out like you expected it to, however, you still appreciate the experience because you learned from it, right? Okay, so that's what I'm getting here for this message. And I just heard this is a person that will feel like you are the one that got away. Okay. So yes, that's it for this message. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you feel in my vibe, especially if this message does resonate with you. If you would like to book a healthy conversation, you can by visiting www.milkhoneyrose.org. Also, you could join the membership here on YouTube for additional content. And I will see you in the next one.